The long journey is about to come to an end. And it starts with Black Friday. And it's not Black Friday because of the Thanksgiving sales. It could be Black Friday for a couple of teams with college football playoff aspirations as we enter rivalry week on this edition of Gridiron Gab Triple Option. Welcome back, Gabbers. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Thank you so much for joining us and making us a part of your Thanksgiving holiday and tradition. We hope it continues. Hope you all are inside, getting a little bit toasty because it's nice and chilly outside as the cold temperatures have returned. But I have gotten a little insider news that the warm weathers are to return. Want to give a huge gab out to my family, my dad, and even my mom who is not here. We miss you. We miss your dressing. We miss your presence and what you make the holiday season. Want to give a huge gab out to my wife and kids. Want to tell them, hey, tell them I love you. Daddy be home soon. Also want to give a huge gab out to my grandmother who is continuing the Thanksgiving tradition, as well as my brothers and my nieces and nephews. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there. Well, we're here. As many of you know, Black Friday this year represents rivalry week. And it starts on Friday. But rivalry week represents the end of the season. Which is sad, but the real season now begins. And of course, many of you are like me. You're looking at this and you're saying, many of these analysts say that there are not 12 teams that can compete. And I have to do a better job of mocking these individuals because so many times we hear, oh, there aren't really 12 teams that can compete for a national championship. Look, many people that are close to these, even your top level analysts don't even understand the terminology when you say styles make fights. Arguably, pound for pound, Mike Tyson was one of the hardest hitters in boxing history. Evander Holyfield was not. But what could he do to Mike Tyson? He handled him. So when I hear individuals say that this team's not a contender or this team is not a contender, it's just like college basketball. Yeah, granted, there's only 5 players, but same thing in college football. 11 players that run a different style that conflicts with the type of defense or a defense that just absolutely is able to disrupt a certain type of offense can be the difference between winning a national championship and losing one. So with this whole, I only think there's a handful of teams, really dig deep and find out what teams cause the most problems. Which is why I'm of the belief that a lot of SEC teams don't play Navy. You don't want to have to depend on one player to make the right play every single play. But that's not the whole point. Like I said, I'm looking at this situation and I'm saying there literally could be some, and it's going to get better with the NIL. I thought so many people were incorrect even when they made the college football playoff, when they said, oh, it's going to be watered down. It's this, it's going to be that. I think ultimately you're going to see the fading out of the home fields in the first round because there were so many people that were disappointed in last season's. But like I said in my show last year, if you guys go back and watch, a lot of the reason for that is because you got home field. You have so many individuals that have one of these in front of them, and they don't understand what that home field means. Just like when you sit and you look at a team that loses at home, Brad understands what I'm saying, whether it's by a point or 101 points, you lose at home, period. That should be a big stain on your resume. I'm just saying. Just saying. But needless to say, we're going to get away from that because you guys apparently watch some of those individuals and I don't. But they happen to jump up on my news feed and I have to listen to the regurgitated gibberish that means nothing and go talk about the Black Friday games that could have some serious implications to the college football playoff. Now, mind you, by the time Friday evening strikes midnight, guys, we could very well have, and I'm not saying, and look, the college football playoff committee is not going to make their final selection until next week. However, this could end up being a situation where we could find out whether 4 teams could either be in it or locked in, if you will, or they could be completely locked out. But let us get started. Want to give a huge gab out to my buddy Brad, whom once again is always a huge contributor to the show. He also has given out his picks to myself and the show. Definitely want to make sure that you guys jump in here because needless to say, Brad is doing his part, you guys. He is definitely doing his part. But before we get started, let me let Lumavita tell you about some of its great products, as Lumavita is also the sponsor of today's show. Guys, we now officially have our first sponsor, and it is one of my favorite products. It's called the Effing Man. He builds it, fixes it, lifts it, breaks it, then builds it again. The world calls him a man. We call him an effing man. TF Man, the lotion made for the hands that earn it. Crafted from grass-fed tallow, squalene, and grit. No flowers, no fluff, just results. You know the type. The man who shows up. The man who gets it done. The one who doesn't need a filter, a hashtag, or permission. He's not just a man. He's an effing man. How many of you know an effing man? And now he's got the lotion to match. TF Man. The whipped tallow cream from LV. Made from grass-fed beef, squalane, and pure grit. No chemicals, no perfume. Just hard-earned hydration for hands that build, lift, and live. LV is all-natural skincare, rebuilt for real people. TF Man, because being the effing man means taking care of your own damn skin. As my buddy replied to the show that I just posted previously, preach on, preach on. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I will. And enjoyed the conversation we had. Thank you so much, brother, for that. It's always my fault. I can handle it because I'm an effing man. Yes, you are an effing man, Brad. I appreciate it. They would have won. Who would have won? Indy Still Rocks played a cupcake too. No, we didn't. Played at FBS school. And I get a lot of comments about my humor. It's dry, but I still get a lot of compliments.
Bruh.
But that's not why we're here. I'm not here to tickle your funny bone. I'm here to let you guys know about Black Friday. And of course, Brad here is starting us off. He's got Mississippi State in an upset over Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl. Now, I am inclined to agree with him, given that Ole Miss has had its struggles on the road. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. This Lane Kiffin thing, this is where I have a huge problem with Lane. Look, you're on the brink of getting this team to a college football playoff. You had them in a situation last year where they were on the outside looking in. You know, realistically, I'm looking at this game and I'm saying Ole Miss can't stop anything. I mean, now I know a lot of people are going to say, well, they stopped some people. No. I think this is going to be a game that if Mississippi State can pull the type of game they pulled against Texas, I don't see this being one of those games where they're going to be able to make a move, because ultimately, the thing is, the type of weapons Ole Miss has, they come together like Texas's, but I don't think Trinity Chambliss has that type of poise, that just naturally comes. Deep in my own heart, I would love to see Ole Miss falter. Although realistically, I'm asking myself, is it realistic? Can Ole Miss really go in to Mississippi State and lose this one? I'm just not. I'm not sure. I mean, they've been tough. They've had a rough go on the road. Trinity Chambliss is a good quarterback, but his numbers are deceptive. 26, 57, 14 touchdowns and 3 picks. But then there's no denying Lacey. 231 carries, 1136, 19 touchdowns. Arguably because Jeremiah Love has been so good this season. He's really been one of those running backs that's kind of flown under the radar for the Doak Walker Award. Not saying he's going to win it with the type of fanfare that Jeremiah Love's getting, because needless to say, if he was not sharing the backfield with Jadarian Price, more than likely, he'd probably be running away with the Heisman at this point. But I'm just not sold on the fact that Ole Miss can walk into Mississippi State and pull this win. I just don't think they can. A lot of people are going to go. A lot of folks are going to go Ole Miss because it's the right choice or it's the easy choice. Like Brad and myself, we look at the hard and we look at the total complexity of the game. Now, a lot of people are going to say, you're saying that Mississippi State is the same as Georgia. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's a rivalry game. And rivalry week brings a lot of different feelings and emotions, as we've seen with Michigan and Ohio State. Right? This is one of those games. Yes, Ole Miss is playing for a shot at a college football playoff. But that doesn't mean that Mississippi State, whom has struggled all season to finish games, that's going to happen this week. I honestly think this is going to be the week that Mississippi State is going to be able to complete one of these upsets and be able to put the dagger in a team, in my opinion, that has just, they've had a lot of close wins against a lot of non-formidable opponents. I think Trinity Chambliss, if they keep it close, and this is what I'm seeing Mississippi State possibly going out there and being able to run off some points. And Blake Shapen is going to be able to go out there, even though he's 15 for 8 interceptions, but the running game from him has been, pretty good. I'm not going to sit here and say that Mississippi State is world beaters, but this has been a team that has been close so many times. Look at the Arizona State game. They lost by 4. You look at the Tennessee game. They lost by 7. You look at the Florida game, lost by 2. Look at the Texas game, lost by 7, and they were up big in that game. So, I mean, I get it. The last 2 games, they've been absolutely mauled. But I think ultimately, this is going to be a football team that understands that this is their last chance to really make a statement. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, a statement for what? They done. Well, that's debatable. I don't think they're done. I think they make a move right here, which is going to get them bowl eligible. You heard me. And like I said, Brennan Thompson is a really shifty wide receiver, and I think he could have a big day. But I think it's going to be this defense that's going to do the number. I think they're going to be the ones that get to the Ole Miss Rebels and slow down this ascending running game. I know a lot of people are going to say 1,100, it's not ascending. Well, a lot of what they do comes off of Trinity Chambliss, but I don't think it's going to be enough today. But I'm taking Mississippi State by 3, just like Brad. I'm taking them by 3. Then we've got a game in which a superstar potential quarterback could be the difference in Utah going to the college football playoff. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of the reason that Kansas could win this game over number 13 Utah, I think there's a lot of people overstating what Utah is, and last week proved a lot. when you allow a team like Kansas State to run up almost 450 yards on the ground.
Run, run, run.
Yeah. I'm not saying Kansas can do that, but I am saying when you allow a team and a certain running back to run over 250 on you, that is a cause for concern. And then you're traveling on the road. I think Jaden Daniels is going to have a good game, and that'd be quarterback Jaden Daniels for Kansas, who's gotten the turnovers down, 21 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, which really derailed this team's early ambitions and put them in the position that they are, because I felt like Kansas was going to be a good football team this year. But you can see a player like Brashard Smith, was last year for them. It was a great 1-2 punch with Jaden Daniels' running ability as well as Brashard Smith's ability to get and make some really big plays. But I think Utah's able to win this game because of their defense. I don't think Jaden Daniels and company are going to be able to do that. But I also don't think Kansas's offense is going to be able to slow down not the high-powered Utah Utes, but I just say a team that really tries not to hurt itself. So I think ultimately this is going to be a game where the Utah Utes are able to move the ball, control the clock, and keep Jaden Daniels in that offense off the field most of the game. And I take Utah in this game. But then at 3:30, we got the game that I thought should have been the 8:30 game. A game that has mass implications whether people want to admit it or not, and even Brad said he's concerned with it. And that would be number 23, Georgia Tech, at number 4, Georgia. Now, a lot of people will say Georgia loses this game, they're still in. Not so sure about that one, because Georgia Tech has a tendency to go out there defensively and lock anybody down. As we saw in the Pittsburgh game, this is a team that could easily lock you down for about 2 or 3 quarters. And by that time, if Haynes King and Jamal Haynes get it going, you got problems. And, realistically, if, with this game being moved to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I thought the entire atmosphere was destroyed for this, chance. And I think Georgia Tech took advantage of the big dollars that was going to come in. I can't say I blame them, but then again, you always want that organic experience when you can play a game of this magnitude in your building and not a makeshift home field. I'm not big on that. I mean, I know the ADs of Georgia Tech and the powers that be at Georgia Tech are like, yeah, well, who cares what you think? But I'm sure Brad is like me. You would rather see this game played. Well, no, I ain't gonna. No. Brad probably glad it got played at Mercedes-Benz because now it balances the tables. But I always want the organic experience, and it's gonna be something that is gonna be special for the players, but it's not gonna be special for the fan base because Georgia's gonna travel. They're gonna do their thing and make this game as tough as possible because they realize they've got a matchup this year with Georgia Tech. Brad said something to me, I think the other day. He said we'll beat them, but I think Haynes King, he's gonna go off. And I said the same thing. He's gonna go off. He understands his mistakes last week. The guy had 2 interceptions last week. He came in to that Virginia game only throwing 2 interceptions, and they were bad interceptions. And not even just for him, they were just bad in general. And I'm thinking I feel like he's going to come in wanting to, to redeem himself against a very underrated, but because overrated in my sense, because Georgia's defense showed me one game that they look great, and it's just like Ohio State's defense. It's like, come on, man. I think Haynes King does a great job. I think ultimately the move from the stadium, it was a bad move. And I think Haynes King goes off yet again, but I think Georgia's able to pull the win and punch their ticket to the college football playoff and possibly keep their hopes alive for a shot, even though this doesn't matter. He's still alive for the SEC title game. They just need, I think, one thing to go wrong, or right in their case. I think Haynes King ends up getting invited to New York because of his performance in this game. Unfortunately, this game is probably going to knock Tech out of the ranking, but he's just such an exciting player. I would love to see him get invited to New York, especially given the fact that his numbers are his yardage is better than Fernando Mendoza's. The only thing is that the touchdowns are massively in his favor, unless you count his rushing touchdowns. Then he gets right back in it. So I think the Heisman Trophy the committee needs to look at that as well. Then, of course, you got Indiana at Purdue. I don't see this game being much. I don't know why it's on at 7:30. You would rather something else besides this. But anyway, Mendoza will get a chance to, to basically bolster his shot at the Heisman Trophy and get back into the lead yet again, or strengthen his lead in the Heisman voting as well. I don't see any reason why Indiana should struggle here. Then we got an interesting matchup between Arizona and Arizona State, which will be at 9 o'clock. Arizona just getting into the top 25. You got Noah Fafita, who really started slow, has come on. Seemed to me like he just needed to really get his feet under him after losing Teteroa McMillan to the NFL. And you can tell this being a Carolina Panther fan and seeing this guy way he's performed for the Panthers, you see why Fafita missed him. But he was able to bounce back and have 26, 77, 25 scores, 5 interceptions on the year. And Tyson, the Arizona wide receiver, we've seen who's been battling injuries as well as battling quarterback swaps, ended up with 59 catches, 689 yards, and 8 scores. Not bad for a guy who's dealt with his own injuries as well as injuries to his quarterback. But I'm looking at this game and I'm thinking, yes, no, this is going to be an up and down type of football game. This is going to be one of those games where the teams are going to be back and forth, up and down. I like Arizona, but then again, I like ASU when they have to play in Tempe. When you go to Tempe, look, that ain't no easy place to play in. It is not. Tempe is not an easy place to play. Those Sun Devil fans are going to be nuts. Big time rivalry game. I think the Sun Devils take this game, and although they're not staking a claim in the Big 12 or the college football playoff, they'll end up getting a pretty good bid in a bowl game. And the matchup of Black Friday could end up being a huge black eye for the Texas A&M Aggies as they travel to Austin. Brad and I went back and forth about this game because he's not sold on Marcel Reed. Me, I am very much sold on Marcel Reed because I saw him up close and personal. Now, granted, our defense in South Bend is not where it is now, but even still, to be down 27 points, and I think he was down as much as 13, 14 against us, and he was able to stave a comeback. The problem I have with Texas is, yes, they are playing at home, but they have not faced a quarterback of the same caliber as Marcel Reed. Now, Gunnar Stockton's not on his level. Reed is one of those guys that if the Texas Longhorns try to pressure him, he is going to escape, and he is going to carve you up. And they have not faced any elite receivers like KC Concepcion and Mario Craver. These guys are elite. I don't care what anybody says. You have to have two corners out there that can really keep up with these guys. They are really small, but they are scat backs. And Mike Elko's offense, their OCs do a great job moving these guys around. And I'll tell you something. A&M slick, y'all. They do not show you their cards. They show you what they want to show you. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, yeah, duh, you don't want your opponent to see what they're doing. That's not the point. The point is, they do it. And they do it damn well. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. The reality of it is, when you start watching this Texas A&M team, they've got 2 superstars on the outside. Okay? Texas has 1. And I'm going to be straight up honest with you. With that offensive line of Texas being so inconsistent and that defensive front for Texas A&M so underrated, I'm going to tell you, this could be another beatdown today. This could be another absolute beatdown on Black Friday. So with me saying that this team can have a black eye, be the team that has the black eye on Black Friday, I think it's going to be Sark that has the black eye on Black Friday, because people are going to wonder, how did this team go from being arguably the number 1 team in the country to having 4 losses? I just think it's one of those well-talented teams that just couldn't put it all together. And they end up falling. And I think Texas A&M has just figured out the combination of Marcel Reed, put a lot of quick guys around him, including himself. And what's scary is if Moss was healthy, yeah. Many of you forget about this guy's very good, yeah, that's a key piece that they're missing. But I still think they've got a good tailback in Owens II. He's a very good running back. He's come in and he doesn't even have 100 carries, but he's already over 570 yards on the ground. But yeah, I think a huge problem Texas is going to have is A&M is going to run the ball, but they're going to run it in different ways. They're going to give it to Concepcion. They're going to give it to Craver. So many guys are going to touch the ball in that offense. And the most important person you got to remember is Marcel Reed, a guy who's not getting enough credit for what he does in this offense. But that is Black Friday, you guys. As I said, this could be a situation where we could have the college football playoff turned on its head by 10 o'clock Friday night. But guys, let me know what you think about Black Friday, and hopefully we have an exciting Friday. We all, as you guys are like me, you're a NFL head as well, so hope you guys go and stay safe when you go out. Hopefully you guys have a great time with your families. Enjoy. But make sure you leave comments down below. Let me know what you're having with your Thanksgiving feast and who you're going to be with your Thanksgiving feast if it's family. I don't want to be all up in business like that. And where you're gabbing from. Make sure that when you leave a comment, make sure it's nice. And if you want to, put pictures down below. As well as making sure if you're a first-time subscriber, make sure you tell me where you're from. And don't forget to click that bell notification, the sub button, as well as the thumbs up. Next, go over to Facebook at Gridiron Gab Triple Option and let us know what you think about the show, as well as joining the group. And finally, make sure you go over to Instagram at Mr. CeeLo so you can keep up with all of my in-season and off-season shenanigans that I will be caught up in. But until the next time, I hope you guys have a safe, happy Thanksgiving and continue to love on one another on this wonderful, glorious holiday. Keep each other safe and stay strong. And don't forget to stop by on this same Gab channel, same Gab platform.